Dubey Prasad. I'm a hospital medicine doctor, so internal medicine. I do spend most of my time in global health and global health education. So I direct a Center for Global Health Education at Northwestern, and then I'm involved in sort of directing the curriculum collection and helping with like NCEAS and the conference and things like that. And so I also play a role in the medical school where I teach a little bit around structural drivers of health, social influencers of health, and then run co-run a curriculum on community health and advocacy at the medical school. Um, and have been working in the curriculum collection since sort of the beginning, which this whole thing started with a HRSA grant, actually. This is how we convened the group. And so that was like what, Claire, 2004,
The curriculum collection started in 2018, but the HRSA
2018.
grant was before that and maybe 16, I believe it started.
So 28, we've been around since 2018, I guess. And Claire does, the majority of the work to keep NCs sort of alive. And there are like a couple of faculty that provide some content support. So I will pass it to Claire.
I'm Claire Petrie. I am a research coordinator in general internal medicine, but mostly work on the NCEAS grant. Like I said, it was a grant, but now we're funded through Northwestern a bit. We do the curriculum collection. I should have counted how many resources we have on the web right now, but we have many, and I can't even get that number. But we work on meeting we can talk more, but mostly do that. And then we also do the conference, which is going to be held in February, and we can talk more about that in the meeting too. But that's what I mostly focus on and work on a few other things in internal medicine.
And since there's just two of you, maybe we can take a minute to hear about you guys, whoever's feeling, there we go.
I can go first. My name is Andrea McKinnon. I'm a PA. I practice clinically in otolaryngology. I'm here in Winston-Salem at the Wake Forest Hospital. I am also principal faculty within the Wake Forest PA program, and I'm director of clinical education in the PA program. I also focus on leading and consulting on health equity curriculum within our department and am finishing a doctorate in public health, where my dissertation will be focused on looking at how PA programs, all of our programs, there are 309 of them, are incorporating social determinants of health within their curriculum.
Hi, I'm Sophia. I'm a neurology resident. I'm in my last year of residency at Northwestern. I'm interested in healthcare disparities work, a lot of community work I'm interested in, and I will be going on to a fellowship. I'll be moving to the East Coast, so I'll be going to Yale for a fellowship in neuro-oncology because that's what I'll be actually specializing in is for brain tumors. So kind of figuring out that path of like how uh, I can combine my interest in healthcare disparities with my interest in neuro-oncology will be important because it's not a very diverse field.
Congratulations.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's where I did
Thanks.
my residency. That's
Uh,
great. That's awesome. Congrats. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I think one really nice thing about this, and um, it'll be like a little, you'll see how you can apply it, in your future space. But one really nice thing about this job is that you read these articles and it's like, it's good because you would never really read them that closely anyway. And then you end up like finding things that can like actually help you with your work. And so, it's like it sort of just like helps you read stuff that you probably wanted to read anyway. And you could very likely apply into your space because the idea of the curriculum collection um, is really about providing resources to educators. And, you'll be an educator in your fellowship space for your peers and, students, and you are now as a resident, and then also sort of thinking about what you'd want to teach other residents and things like that. So, the curriculum, so welcome to the curriculum collection. Welcome to the team. We are a branch of NCEAS, and we're really like Claire said, we're really like the this and the conference. We're like the two main shows in town of what NCEAS does in terms of activities. So thank you so much for joining us. We're a small group of physicians, residents, and educators who are passionate about providing easy and accessible resources to health educators to help them teach their students about the social influencers of health, the structural drivers, the social determinants of health. So how we kind of came about this, or sort of like what the problem or gap was that we were trying to fill, is that um, a lot of community clinician educators are like very, very busy, and they're like very busy seeing patients and trying to teach, and don't have this sort of same time that maybe some of us in the academic space have to create curriculum and disseminate curriculum and vet curriculum. And so we wanted to make things available for those educators to use in like a really canned way and very clearly and very easy to adapt. So that's like our organizing principle. Like that's why we're doing this. We're trying to get stuff out there that's timely, relevant, easy to use, and we frame it. That's our job. So the other thing we like to do, we like to think of also is the other sort of side of that, which is that a lot of people that do this work, that do the sort of clinical education work in this field, don't necessarily take the time or have the time to publish their resources or what they've done, or the format of these are not typically the kinds of things that are accepted in peer-reviewed journals. So we also want to serve as a platform for people who are creative and who have really nice curricula to share, but they don't fit the sort of typical kind of peer-reviewed journal format, to have a space to disseminate their work and have a way to both share and have a little bit of credit for their scholarly activities as well. Slide. So, oh, do you mind doing the next slide, Claire? Sorry. Oh, I should mute this thing. So, our website is very easy if you want to send anybody over there. It is SDOH education.org. And so that's like our main NCEAS website. Sorry, guys, I'm just going to turn off these things that keep dinging. And then we ended up splitting up the curriculum kind of collection into a curriculum collection and a general resource collection. Essentially, some people like I told you, like, we really want curriculum. That's like what we're doing here. Our job is to provide curriculum that is indexed, clear, searchable for educators, that clearly shows what kind of material it is, what kind of learners it's geared to, what kind of assessments are available, really like very clear kind of organizing of curricula for educators and understanding the context. So that's curriculum collection. But then what happened is that some people started to send in some really neat things that were not curricula, but some people might want to use them. Something like the Prepare tool, like a screening tool. So it's not a curriculum, like it's not, but I don't know, maybe you want to use it. Maybe it's like a website, like a community health atlas or something like that. Or, some version of how someone's done something, and it doesn't quite fit the curriculum space, but it is really interesting or helpful. And so we now have a general resources collection, and we also index this. It's very variable in terms of what the content is that's, in there, or it's like, heterogeneous. It's not really articles or PowerPoints or things like that. But it is, you'll know, Claire will just let you know. She'll be like, okay, this is a general resource, or this is a curriculum resource. Or if you get a curriculum resource and you think it should go, like if it needs to go in one bucket or the other bucket, there's like, we'll show you the red cap that you fill in. And you can always just like write that in the comment box to Claire or email Claire and be like, I think this should go to the other collection.
Okay. Ashley, do you want me to take over?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your voice just got a little tinny though. I don't know. Just
Oh,
talk again. Oh, there it
does
is.
it
It's fine.
work? Okay. So just wanted to go over how we run kind of the curriculum collection. So we do meet every other month-ish, depending on kind of like we met in November and we're not, or I think early or late October, and now we pushed it because of the holidays to January. So, like I said, every other month-ish. I will email you 1 to 2 resources with the link, and then I will include a red cap survey what you complete. And I will say, like, this is for the curriculum collection or this is for general resources. You'll have at least a month to complete your review. And then I'll send a reminder closer to the meeting. Our next meeting is January 21st. So I'll try to get these resources out today. If not, I will get them out Monday. We'll meet January 21st. We'll review them. If you have any questions, if you want to talk it through, that's what we do at the meeting. They're relatively very quick. I would say like we block a half hour, but I would say unless someone has a lot of questions or something came up, more like a 15-minute touch base, see if you have any questions, kind of almost at the point like, okay, let's get them done. And then I will post them on the web after our meeting, and they'll be available for everyone to view. Just a thing about the note what Ashley was just talking about. So if you do have a resource where you're filling it out and you're like, this is not a curriculum at all, you could fill like there's a point where you have to write a summary paragraph, which we'll talk about. You can just note like right away, write in bold. I read every comment. This goes to the general resources, and this is what you would write here. So you don't have to do it again. That's perfectly fine. And if you also find a resource that this is not a curriculum, this is not supposed to be in general resources, we do reject them. You don't have to write a summary. You just write not accepted, reject, and don't have to take the time to write a summary. You can write why really quickly, but don't feel like you have to spend the time doing that. I was trying to think. I think that's all I have. Ashley, am I missing anything? Okay.
I think you got everything. Awesome. And then the next slide here is going to show a little bit of the red cap. So Claire will send you this like link that you will fill out for your resource. And one you'll see kind of a couple of things like I think Claire attached a PDF, right, of this to the email. So you can kind of pull it up and look at it. It has things like, is it just like a PowerPoint? Is it a single session? Is it a total curriculum? Because, you know, in the beginning, we were like saying no PowerPoints at all because it's like not a curriculum. It's like just a single PowerPoint. And then we're like, well, maybe that could be helpful for somebody, but we just like need to say it. Maybe if it's something really good, it's worth it, you know? And then on the other hand, sometimes we'll get things like, remember, Claire, we got that like link and it was like to this like very in-depth training. They must have gotten like funding to like create like something with like, you know, 20 different modules and like each module has like its own quiz. Like it was really like a lot. And I think Claire ended up even like splitting up the modules for like people to review individually. So like there's sort of variations in sort of in what this looks like, but the red cap usually like, has a lot of categories to kind of help you get an idea of like what we want to talk about. And you can use the Word doc as a guide to answer the questions. And then
And
at the
also,
end,
oh,
go
sorry,
ahead.
Ashley. I was going to say I will re-include the Word document when I send out the resources so that it's all in the same email when you get your first group of resources.
And if you yeah, you can use that because it has like more information about like how you can answer some of the questions. And then the last 2 questions of the survey just ask if you should include it or not. And then we like list reasons for rejection, like not a curriculum, not SDOH, other, you know, whatever. We have this one thing like, does it cost money? And it's kind of funny. It was only really applicable to one resource, but we put it in there anyway. So that's like, I don't know, that's just there.
I do
Um,
want to make a note about that too. Like some people will read a resource that with their standardized patients needed and all these things, and people will say it costs money because you have to pay the standardized patients.
oh yeah,
That's like not what we're like. You can make a note in the summary, like they had all these resources that will
right,
cost it. It does cost money to put on this curriculum, but I think it's more like, does it cost money to access the resource? Is
right.
that question?
Yeah, do you have to buy it? Like it
Yes.
was referring to like a CDC game that was like $200 or
Yes.
something. And it's like
Yeah.
you have to buy that. So that's what that cost question is
Yeah.
about. And then in the next slide, here's a really, really nice example of this summary paragraph. Because honestly, that's like, so yes, the categorization actually really matters. Indexing really matters. It's like really nice for people to have like index material. But this is like where you bring your expertise, your understanding of undergraduate curriculum, or like preclinical. I think you could say preclinical and clinical curriculum, preclinical years, clinical years. Um, so what you want to do here is you want to talk about what the resource is and like, sort of what it has included in it as an educator, like didactics, experiential learning, blah, 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 where they did it, like was it a clerkship, was it in the classroom, was it 10 didactics, et cetera, et cetera. And then the part that you are critical in is like, how easy is this to adapt? Did they give you all the components? Do you think this is like better for a preclinical thing or for a clinical time? Or do you think, what are your what kind of advice would you give people on how to use this? Do you need faculty expertise? That's often one of them. Like, would you need trained faculty? That comes up all the time. Do you need people with lived experience? Like, do they have enough, if it's like, if it's involving sort of like any kind of scripted work, do they give you all the scripts and things like that? And then, then you can, yeah, and you can just talk about like feasibility. I think you could use this with like anybody, even faculty or whatever, something like that. And you could talk about why it might be useful or not. So this is really like what we're looking for from you guys as reviewers, is to bring this to the table. And we have bias checklists as well. These were made actually, if I remember correctly, during the curriculum collection and during our grant, to think about if we are really reflecting on whether or not the curriculum or the content has bias. And we've had one or two, one that I've been like involved in where again, like no harm meant, but just like a lot of photos and, stories and vignettes had content that was potentially biased. And we sort of sent it back and even like mentioned it to the people. And I think, tried to do our best there. But this is going to be, Claire also includes this, if I remember correctly, when you send out the resources. Is that right?
I don't normally, I can happy to do so. It's posted on the web too,
Oh,
but I
that's right.
can definitely do it.
Yeah. Or yeah, if you just send it one time, maybe. And yes, it is posted on that's right. That's what it says right here. It's under curriculum collection, but maybe like we can make it like best practice to just add it to that Word doc. It could just be the end of the Word doc that has the survey questions in it. And we'll show you a sample of a review. I don't know if you've been on the website before, but we can pull up the website too in a second after we finish the training and we can kind of show you what it looks like. But here is a nice review of a resource. So we do review some MedEd portal resources, and you would think like, oh, do you really have to do that because they already have their abstract and things like that? But it kind of pulls out the ones that are really in our space, and it gives you an idea of really where you could use them or how you could use them. And so it tells you that it's a standardized patient case, like what they do, what kind of assessment tools they use. So, we think about this like we're trying to provide it to educators, really. So we want to also give them assessment tools that they can use. That's always really helpful. Like it makes a resource more useful. and then whether or not it's a single session. So this is like the stuff on the side is like some of the buttons that you're going to click on the red cap, and then there's the nice sort of paragraph. There's even more. The paragraph is longer than the screenshot. Okay. And then last but not least is our big conference. And so this is our huge platform to disseminate. And it's a virtual asynchronous, or not asynchronous, it's a virtual synchronous conference, February 23 to 24. We'll mark your calendars. Maybe we'll send out holds if we haven't already. There are many different ways you can participate in the conference if you'd like to. I think Andrea already participated by reviewing some abstracts and workshops for us, so thank you so much. We had an outstanding number of submissions, so it's going to be a full and interesting conference. So you can help by attending the poster session. So the way Claire organizes it is that they all have different sort of Zoom rooms and they have judges, but sometimes we had them sitting there for an hour. I think we might change that, but sometimes this the poster presenters are sitting there for kind of a long time, so we might assign people to rooms so they have like an extra visitor. And you can sort of see what people are doing, judging oral abstracts that get presented, attending workshops again, like warm bodies help. We have a lot of workshops now, so we will have a lot of people splitting up. And then we wrote Dream Speaker, like not for this year, obviously, but for next year, or for like if it's not someone too big for webinars, like if you have someone you really like want to meet or have heard speak before, or you've always wanted to hear them speak, let us know. Maybe we can invite them or figure out a way to get them to come to the conference or something like that. So those are some ways to be involved in the conference. Thanks for putting that together, Claire. And I think that's it. I think we have 10 seconds left if anyone has questions.
Can I just say one more thing about the conference? We love all of our residents and faculty that are a part of the curriculum collection to attend, and we do offer free admission for everyone that's a part of our group. So I will send that out like in an email, maybe after the holidays. Like here's the code to register and like to get the free admission. And I will probably be asking you if you'd be interested in the oral abstracts, judging, and attending the poster sessions and all the things.
All the things that are listed. Awesome. Thank you. Any questions, guys? Sorry, I didn't leave much time for that. It's all very straightforward. It runs very smoothly. Even our like bi-monthly check-ins literally are like 15 minutes long at the longest. Sometimes it's like 6 minutes. Everyone's like, we had no questions, whatever, or I saw something really good, or what, it's not it, that's it. So it's like low face-to-face meeting engagement, and then like a little bit of work around the conference, and then for just the articles, but hopefully it isn't too big of a lift. And you get to enjoy it. So thanks so much for agreeing to be part of it, and we really appreciate you guys, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.